black women are most educated. You're the most enrolled. See, we play slick and loose when we start. Let me say something. Set the table. A man's past or a woman's past or her story is used to mythologize. A man's past or his story is typically used to demonize. A black man past or his story is typically used to villainize you. Yeah. So we can say women are doing this, women are doing that. They could, okay, then let's take that. Women are killing it. I accept your premise. They're killing it. They're entrepreneurs. They're business people. They're moving and shaking. City girls, summer, blah blah. Why are 1 in 4 of you on some sort of psych man? Why is the weight of the typical woman up, and why are more women today the most free, the most liberated, the most educated, the more anything else, the least happy of any woman has ever existed? I can't speak to their because they're not because the things that typically make women happy are relationships. They've calibrated. They're the social of the two, and many women have all the things that on paper are supposed to make you happy, but they don't have the relationship or the family, and that is where this is all falling apart. I mean, you got to think about it. If I was not saying something that makes sense, why do I have anywhere from 20 to 30,000 people watching consistently, even with the women being so angry? Because what they're recognizing is something is missing. When I used to have my MIT, my men in training, the thing I would do is take them to a city overlooking downtown. I'd say, gentlemen, life happens out there. Number 2 words, life is about people. Life is about relationships. And one thing this coronavirus pandemic showed to women in general, unfortunately black women in particular, is when you shut the world down, you shut it down, you could not go to work. Many women had to look to the left, to the right, to the front and back, and there was nobody there. No husband, no kids, no family, no network. They're just sitting there. And that gave them a glimpse into their possible future. All things being equal, if you keep living the way you're living, this is where it's going to end up being. And it panicked people for the first time because it took an act of God to actually start this conversation. That's when my podcast started picking up because for the first time, men and women were at home. Men have always known this. Let me tell you, just not to interrupt. Can I get some applause?
Now, this Kevin Samuels passing away is an act of God because man's goings are of the Lord, and he bring down to the grave, and he raised up from the grave, from the womb, and everything is done by the acts of the Lord. And so he was one of the acts of the Lord that exposed and brought to light the issue of this women being strong and independent, get a degree, get a good job in America, Babylon the Great, and that his show was getting all types of views every day on a consistent basis, and he set the whole internet on fire, where everybody went to trying to emulate and copy what he was doing. You see, and all of this was the acts of the Lord. And just like he said, the so-called black woman is the most unhappy woman on the planet, because she is not just any types of woman. That's why she is the most unhappy. She was targeted by the CIA and the FBI and the so-called white man, just like the um the Willie Lynch letter said. You got to target the woman just like you target the horse to break all the other horses and the children horses. You got to break this woman so she can break everybody else. And so they focused on her so they could destroy the whole nation. And so this was an act of the Lord for him, just like he said, his podcast blew up when people had to leave their jobs and they was isolated in their homes. And once he blew up, the Lord took this situation up to now, and he served his purpose. But let me get these scriptures. He served his purpose, and the purpose of the Lord was this main thing. It says, open rebuke is better than secret love. See, the haters of this man, they was taught by the so-called white man education system, school, church, whatever information uh, that's pushed into their brains, the media, television, books, that love is about only being sweet, sweet talking, sweet actions toward a person. And so what they don't know, that open rebuke is is one of the foundations of love. It's just like the Lord, they was taught that the Lord was some entity that was all love and no hate. Even though all through the Bible it talks about how he hate this person and he hate this situation and he hate these wicked people. But he was painted and presented as a entity that just was all love. God is love. Like he don't have any other kind of attributes. And so when Kevin Samuels was showing love, let's go get that. Leviticus 19:17. It say, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. That means you should love your brother. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor. See, you should rebuke him and not suffer sin upon him. He wasn't suffering this feminist mess that they was pushing on the women. He was trying to rebuke them, correct them, so they can get to happiness. Because see, these laws is not to control a person. These laws are to make people happy. Let me get that in Psalm. See, these people thinking somebody trying to control them. And that's not what the laws is for. The laws is not to control somebody. Look at 65. Psalms 119, 165. Great peace have they which love your law, and nothing shall offend them. See, you're going to have great peace when you follow the laws of God. When you reject this atheist uh, same-sex marriage mentality that was given by the so-called white woman. See, when you reject her philosophies that she was pushing off on people, you're going to have great peace in your life. But when you listen to the devil, see, look at verse 30, 136. I hate and abhor lying. See, if they would abhor this liar, who is the so-called white woman, they would have peace. But they want to listen to her and chase her living qualities and living how I want to say that, chase how she living pretty much. She living on in comfort. She can have sex with any man she want and kill the babies and have 1,000 abortions. That's what they was pushing with their feminist movement. And the women rule the world type of situation. Which that is a lie, because the so-called white men rule the world. But just like on the plantation, he would focus on the woman, just like you focus on breaking the horse. You break this woman, and she gonna break everything else. Now look at here, Leviticus 19:29. It says, "Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore." See, what is America? America is a land of whoredom. Everybody walking around naked and worshiping women, lest the land fall to whoredom and the land become full of wickedness. That's why America is full of wickedness. The land of darkness, the Bible calls it. Let me get that real quick. The land of darkness. Look at verse 22. The land of darkness, as darkness itself, and the shadow of death, without any order, and where the light is as darkness. See, they see this empowering women to be wicked, empowering women to do whatever they want to do. That's light to America. Empowering women to live in some fantasy world where they just gonna uh, want what they want and forget about what the men want. Forget about what men and children want. You get what you want. You follow your desires. And that's gonna make you happy by you doing what you want. Let's get that in Timothy. It says, let me get one and two. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men and women shall be lovers of their own selves. This is the whole problem. And what would the devil do to the women? Verse 6. For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with diverse lusts. See, they throwing every kind of lust at these women to do what you want. Do whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. Forget the men and the children. The men and the children, that's not going to make you happy. Hanging around and being with these men and children. That's not where your happiness is going to come from. Your happiness is going to come from you being a whore and you doing whatever you want to do. You getting to the money so you can go on vacations and have fun like a little child. You going on a venture and a trip like a bunch of kids. You getting with the girls and go hang out like a bunch of little children. You can go play. Go play. You and the kids go play. Y'all go play with each other now. Go have a good time. Y'all go play. Us grown folks gonna go in here and talk. We gonna go in here and have adult conversation. But y'all go outside and play with the other kids. See, this is how they push the women to think that they finna be happy. Cause they gonna chase playing. Girls just wanna have fun and play all the time. See, they making songs, but that's not what these people are supposed to do. Let's see, is it five? No, uh, here it is. This is what these women supposed to do. This is what God tell women to do. I will therefore, meaning I want the women, the young women, to marry, get with a man. See, I want these women to get with a man, then bear children from that man, and guard the house. Stay your behind in the house. Give none occasion to the adversary, the devil, the so-called white man, to speak reproachfully about the so-called black woman. But he can talk reproachfully in every way now, because he teaching her to be a certified demon, and she's accepting his teaching and teaching it to her children, just like the Willie Lynch letter said. And this is what Isaiah 3 and 12 is talking about. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. See, ain't no man in that house, and they can't keep a man in the house because of what the so-called white man done taught them. O my people, that which lead thee cause thee to error. The woman is leading the people, and the so-called white man is leading the people, and destroy the way of your paths. See, they are being destroyed. Let's get this. It says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, because they have rejected knowledge. See, they reject Kevin Samuels and the other so-called black men that's trying to tell them to listen to the men of their nation. Listen to the men that's wanting to marry them and take care of them. Listen to what he want. Try to please him. No, that ain't what they want to hear. See, they lacking that knowledge. They only receiving the knowledge of the so-called white man. See, let's get this real quick. I'm gonna end it on this. Verse 10, it says, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceit. See, they want people to tell them a lie. They want people to lie to them at all times. And rub their ego and stroke their ego. That's what they want. See, they want to hear smooth things. They want to hear smooth things at all times. And guess who's going to give them the smooth thing? The so-called white woman. Look at King David talking about these dragons in Psalms 55 and 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. See, the words of these dragons' mouth is smoother than butter. You can have sex with all the men you want. Don't matter how you look, and then you can, anytime you get pregnant, you can go down there to the what's her name, Planet Parenthood by Margaret Sanger, and you can go down there and they'll get rid of the pregnancy and everything. That's why. How in the world did, soon as they went to rioting all over America about the possibility that they're gonna reverse the abortion law, Kevin Samuels is taken off the scene and draw all the attention on him and what he was talking about. See, these are the acts of the Lord, man. And let me certify what I said about this man's going out of the Lord. See, he ain't operating by himself. He's just a puppet that the Lord set up to handle what he was handling. It's a man's going out of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? See, he didn't. Kevin Sam didn't understand nothing that he had going on. The Lord was leading him the whole time, and it was all for the purpose of showing these women that they are out of order and they listening to the so-called white man who want them to be miserable. See, who want them to be unhappy, who want them to destroy their children, who want them to destroy their men, because he brought they behind here on a slave ship. Let's get that. He brought them here on a slave ship, and they don't realize that this man is their enemy. That's why they don't want to accept these curses that was given to the Israelites that let them know who they were in the last days. Let's get it. 46. This is the act of God. It said, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. See, the Israelites was given a sign. They was going to be shown an act of God to let them know who they were. And the act of God was coming over here on slave ships to the so-called white man. It said, and the Lord shall bring you into Egypt or slavery again with ships, and by the way thereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold to your enemies, the so-called white man, for a slave man and slave woman, and no man shall buy you or rescue you from this situation, but Yahweh Shah Mashiach, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ, sent by his Father Yahweh, the Almighty Creator, who can prophesy and tell the future before the situation happened. And see, these women, they is rejecting the whole situation, and he is a sign letting them know you running out of time. You don't want to listen to reason. See, I gave it to you in all types of ways. The prophets and these, even the people, the men of the world telling you that you out of order. If you don't want to listen, you running out of time, and it's time for you to pay the piper. Let's get that real quick. It's time for them to pay. It say, rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, you careless daughters. Give ear to my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women. See, and these days is coming. These days are here. And they've been going through it ever since the 2015, the 2010 on up to now. These days and years, they've been in trouble. The blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, they've been going through it. The Hispanics, they've been catching domestic violence casualties every 2 hours over there in those Hispanic South American countries, which are the northern kingdom of the Israel. Then the southern kingdom, which is the so-called black woman, she been catching all kind of hell from the so-called white man and his philosophies, religions, and on his plantation and living situation, and dealing with the other destroyed Negroes that he created. But the Lord telling them to rise up, because this is the time. If you don't choose now, you're not gonna make it. But I'm gonna leave it there. All praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rekakadash. Double honors to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide. The blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, descendants of slaves, scattered around the globe on slave ships and in many captivities. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.